I was doing research in the Catholic Archives. My son is in San Marcos, and I'm waiting for him to come out of school, and I go to the public library. What a great place to go, right? And the public library in San Marcos, the San Marcos was originally, the attempted founding was by a person named Felipe Roque de la Portilla. Are you all familiar with that name? Felipe Roque de la Portilla. He had been in Matamoros. He married in Reynosa. Actually, he married at Congregación de Refugio by Nicolás Valle. He was the first person that attempted settling San Marcos. They recognize him. He's a name well known there. His daughters married Powers family that was influential in South Texas as well. Anyway, I'm looking for information on him because my first cousin through his mother is related to Davila. So I'm going to pick up whatever I can. They have a folder at the public library. Take it out and I start reading los, let me see if I can remember, pobladores de San Marcos de Neve and 1808. I'm not remembering everything exactly, but it says at the top, Felipe Roque de la Portilla, his wife, I want to say her name was Maria Ruiz. Everyone's wife was named that back then. And she was from Mier. So we have a Mier person. And then below that was a whole bunch of people from different places. And some of those, a good chunk of those people were from Refugio. And right away I'm thinking, okay, San Marcos, we're in the valley, Refugio is halfway, that makes sense. But not entirely. I've seen Refugio listed in a lot of different stuff from that area. What I found out by piecing different things together was that they were referring to Refugio, Texas, the one that we know today. They were referring back to Congregación de Refugio. And for me, it was like, okay, wow, let me look at the names here. The names on there included, no, I don't want to give you the wrong information. I want to say that the names I recognized were things like Cisneros, and I said, okay, Cisneros is to me well known as the Matamoros area family. There was a couple others on there. But then the documents they had in San Marcos, they mentioned and said, well, if the settlement didn't work out, if Felipe went back to Matamoros. And then they had those documents, and it said that in 1812, my dates aren't perfect, these are nice documents. I have the founders of San Marcos, if anyone's interested, write that down if you are. Or if you write my email down, that'll show up later. The next document, this is the one that I liked even more, was that there was a escuela. Now, Felipe Roque de la Portilla is back in Matamoros, and he's alcalde, and he's working with a local priest. Who was a local priest? Nicolás Valle. They're establishing the first school, la Escuela de Primeras Letras, and here are the contributors. And the names in the contributor list are names like Cayetano Medrano, Irineo Gomez, and Cisnero, and all these people that I know a lot of you might find an interest in. These documents, if your ancestor might be in them. I have 2 or 3 of them. In San Marcos, they have a giant scanning machine, about this big. You can play the document in it. Some of them were oversized. And you can press the scan button and choose either to email them to yourself or save them to a thumb drive. I didn't have a thumb drive, so I got a lot of emails that day. But I want to share those with you, if you're interested. There was one other document. Mr. Ormsby, can you, or somebody mentioned in a little side conversation we had here, was there another document of possible interest?
I didn't question the document.
No? Okay. Well, if someone thinks that they can connect to that, I'd be more than happy to share it. I also have, I don't know if it might be valuable to you because this is more inaugural time, but I do have Antonio Cantu Sanchez. You don't have to call the library, you can call me or get a hold of me. That had a lot of branches listed in there. He was the owner of Las Piedras Rancho.
Donde Reynosa, Reynosa y toda la fruta de Reynosa, todo.
Cantu and Cavazos did everything. They came from it. Okay, so I'm going back to Teodoro Davila here. Teodoro Davila, I ran into a big problem. go and do family search, and there must have been 100 Teodoro Davilas that were, and 75 of them were candidates to be my Teodoro Davila. Oh my God. Now, after about 2 months of brain disease, I get a little bit of remedy. I think my wife swatted me with something. To get out of it. So my vision has my research has narrowed to, it looks like Teodoro Davila's father is Juan Buenaventura, but here's part of the problems. Look at this. Teodoro, and I didn't list all of them. He had so many name variations. It's like, we're talking about the same person. And what didn't help, oh no, we're going to do this again. I think it goes into sleep mode.
There it goes.
Oh, it did. No, I went too far again. All right. Go back. Going the wrong way. This is not fair. I don't even know which way I'm going. I'm supposed to be going back.
Right there. Now go.
Right there.
Well, you saw my starship, now you see my Dorothy. All right. Juan Buenaventura. Juan Buenaventura, there was Jose Ventura, Juan Ventura, Jose Juan Ventura. It's like, who's this guy? But I think it might be my if it's the same person. I don't even know if it's one person or 3 persons. So, in addition to that, I'm putting someone, Maria Gregoria, Maria Guadalupe. Sometimes Teodoro would be married. I'm looking for Teodoro Cantú Sanchez. But I'm finding someone else entirely. Gregoria Gonzalez and Guadalupe Trevino, and sometimes their names interchange. It's like, wait a minute, did the father, so Teodoro married his mother-in-law? Or this is weird. So yes, I was intimidated. That's what I was like, oh my. So that's what I felt like. That's what it looked like. Just clarifying that. The answer, my technique, is I have to. I think I'll share this with you too. But Teodoro Davila, it looks like his first wife, Gregoria, died, and he later married Teodoro Cantú. I'm still not sold on it. Teodoro Cantú, it's like, but how? You know, it doesn't make sense. Teodoro Davila had enough kids with Gregorio Gonzalez. His daughters are getting married now. I'm finding records of his daughter getting married. And I know that it says viudo. Teodoro Davila viudo. So, okay, so, and it says madri or padrinos. Teodoro Cantú. There it is. There's a connection. I already felt pretty good. It's like, okay, Teodoro Cantú already knows Teodoro because she's there at his daughter's wedding. All right, so that was pretty good. But it wasn't enough for me. So DNA was coming along, was picking up steam. They're like, I'm trying, you know. I found a deal. It was $59. It was $59, and I got $100 of restaurant coupons. Hey, I'm going for it. I still have some coupons available. I'm keeping those. The Y-DNA, of course, does this. The father. I had some good results. Here are my results. Oh, before I get into that, I had another problem. This is my Buenaventura. Well, he had about 9 kids. And 8 of them I could find baptisms, and 8 of them I could find marriages. Guess who I couldn't find a baptism or marriage for? I couldn't believe it. So, tip for later, confirmaciones de Monterrey. These were the ones that were out there at the time I was looking. This one I don't think I think it's been merged. I don't think that they kept the project up because it was too complicated. Dalia Palacios, again, I'm mentioning her name because I'm very grateful to her. She said, try this one, Family Tree DNA. It was recommended to me by someone who's working with a lot of Hispanic genealogy. And 23andMe, I don't want to discount them. They're also available. I hear they're more for like medical type stuff if you want to know more about your medical things about your genes. I went with Family Tree because they had the best coupons. My results, I'm giving you a tip. I started at an entry level. I took a 12 marker test. Right? I didn't know what to, and I couldn't afford it anymore. They were offering stuff up to like $500. I don't know on the economy. I matched with a person I'd never heard of before. He had taken a 37 marker test. We had the same surname. We compared notes. Yep, was the right one. I benefited from all his markers. Which means my 12 marker test at $59 was as good to me as his 37 marker test at 200 or whatever he did. Not only that, and I'm showing you what, these are now his results, but his results equal my results without me having to take my test any further. And he had gotten even further testing, and he was put into a haplogroup, as some of you may know, that further identifies the ancestry of my Davila paternal line. That was pretty good.
Are you on a common website that you compare to each other?
Oh, what? Yes. Good question. On Family Tree DNA, one of the features is that it gives you your matches. And so right away, my matches, I had thousands of matches, and I had wasn't thousands, maybe hundreds, maybe into the 1,000 plus. But the important thing that you're looking for is the surname match. So my surname is matched with a person named Raul. Raul says, I'm not even interested in genealogy. This was interesting to me. I think you guys will like it. He says, I said, well, I don't understand. I mean, I've been looking for years. I really need your help. He goes, no, I'm sorry, but I just took it for, my doctor said I should take it because I have Viking's disease. Viking's disease? Right? Is that interesting? I said, well, what is Viking's disease? He goes, well, as I'm growing older, my fingers are clenching, and I can't straighten them anymore. And my doctor says that they believe that genetically that they use so many tools on their ships and things like that that we're not. Imagine what we're going to be like in the future with the iPhone disease. But so that's what it was. I said, well, that's very interesting. But the Vikings are from over. We're not from. Do I look like a Viking to you? So. Yeah, not yet. All right, so that's what it was. Because I took about 3 phone calls. Raul, I'm sorry if you're listening. I'm actually complimenting you. He shared his information. I had harvested before. I had what he shared. So he was came up. Before I knew, I had a first cousin that was also there. I didn't know he'd taken this test. He had a 111 marker test, and he had tested his father with the same test, but he didn't know how to work it. So I got 111 markers worth for 12 markers. If you haven't done your Y-DNA or a male in your line, I recommend starting there. You can always upgrade, and depending on what you're finding.
So you do a male upgrade.
So you do your brother or your son or your...
A father or uncle?
Fathers?
Yes, if you're a female. Yes. All right.
I think that's discriminatory.
Not your son.
And I would love to, Moises and I are very actively exploring all the DNA things. That's another area where I'm spending a lot of time. We need more DNA, people. We need more DNA participation. Let me go to, hope I wrote the right one. Oh, Raul. I've been keeping him private, but now I've blown his cover. Raul matched. He gave me his father's name and grandfather's name, which is what he knew. But that was enough because I had already taken all of Pablo's kids and I knew that this was the line, and I connected this right here. Right? So, going up on his line, guess who he matches? Oh my goodness, I was wondering if I was my relative. Well, if that's his relative, we share the same Y DNA, 100%. That's my Theodore. The DNA says it. This isn't, I don't want to get your hopes up completely. This has happened to me. I've heard that DNA hasn't helped a lot of other people. But I encourage people to take it anyway because it's like leading a genetic imprint of who you were, who you are. It's like leading a photograph or a thumbprint or a signature. It's a beautiful thing to leave behind. The technology is here. If you haven't taken care of advantage of it, Don't wait much longer. The idea is that if you have older relatives, bring them on board because they're not going to be with us before long. My tribute here, some of you will recognize. This was for Bill. All in all, you're not just another brick in the wall. That was my girl, King Floyd, thank you. He was tough.
On Ancestry, they actually will, if you match, they'll actually show you that.
Yes. Ancestry has a feature that's unrivaled, and they're able to do that because they have so many trees. But the difference is that right now they're not offering a Y DNA test. They're offering a autosomal test. And, an autosomal test, okay. I mentioned the Y DNA is all the father's line. Then they have the mtDNA, which is all the mother's line. And the autosomal takes all of the chromosomes into account. This is only taken in the Y side. This is only taken in the X, which is the 23rd chromosome. I'm getting into stuff. Don't try to understand everything. I don't understand how my car works when I press the gas pedal, but I know it goes forward. Right. But right now I'm just putting information out there. The autosomal takes all 23 chromosomes, and whatever ancestor, no matter what line they came from, remember it's not just your father and mother. No matter where they came from, they're contributing to a recombination of their genes are happening and trickling down to those chromosomes. That's why it's important you all get your genetic picture. It's a beautiful tool. So if you do, you want to do, I've done all three by now. I've used Family Tree for 2 of them. I used autosomal on Ancestry. I then transferred it to, I did it for the reason he said, because that one automatically matches you to other people.
We did the National Geographic first, and I transferred that to Family Tree.
Was that because they did away with theirs?
No, they're still doing it, but they did it. They got a new one. It's not the same one that it was. But they automatically allowed you to transfer it to the Family Tree when I did it.
Yes.
So they just automatically transferred.
That was good. That was very good.
And that gives you the Y-DNA and
the other.
the other one.
Okay, I'm showing a snapshot of the confirmaciones. It was very painstaking. It was worth it for me. I couldn't remember Teodoro was absent in the births and marriages, but here he is. In this section, it's very hard to read documents. That was one of those times when I was in my cave and I was like, okay, come on internet, come on Time Warner, hurry up. And look, in one page, I've got 2 here and 1 here. They're all Juan Buenaventura's and Guadalupe Trevino's kids. And this is a close-up up here that says Teodoro de Ávila, Juan Buenaventura, DAV, LA up here, Davila, Guadalupe Trevino. On the other page was a sister, Maria Petra. I think that after Maria Gertrudis, Petra was definitely next. Petra was everybody's name. So, this one that here, Jose Antonio, is a brother. I now can work with Juan Buenaventura, right? So Juan Buenaventura, his baptism exists. Juan Buenaventura, Español de 18 días nacido. And here are his parents, Francisco Miguel Davila. Guess where I'm headed with this information? Please don't guess, I've already given you the answer. Yeah? I'm going to my original target, the marriage investigations of the Diocese of Guadalajara, Francisco Miguel Davila, and yet hallelujah, oh my goodness. Thank you people for putting this book together. There are some lines of descent. Now Francisco Miguel happened to be viudo de Rosa Maria de Ayala. So there's another clue. I can find more information about it. And yes, they had a marriage dispensation too. Everybody was related to everybody back then. So, where did I do that? I don't think it was.
And when it gets hard for you to read those documents, how do you do it?
I'm sorry?
When it gets hard to read that writing on the documents?
I'm gonna, yes, computer behind, he has a screen this big. And I use my scroll button and that thing becomes like this big. And that, to me, has been the best. You know what, what's good is that even if it doesn't work, what I'm gonna show you next is right there on that chart. So it's not gonna throw us out of the.
But you also use the.
Which one's the power?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I think it's running out of power, the laptop.
Oh, really? They didn't have
Shutting down.
right there next to you, is it plugged in?
No, the power for the laptop. The
Oh,
charger.
okay. Yeah.
Or is
Okay, I didn't get it. The only thing I was going to show you, let me continue with that. The rest I can actually point to the display because that's where we're going next. I now have enough foliage in my tree. I used to have a shrub. Now I have a tree. That's what I wanted. I wouldn't be able to make a display without that tree. What I didn't show you on the marriage investigation thing, something very peculiar happened to Francisco Miguel Davila. In that particular, where it shows the names of who his, it says madre. Doesn't put the name. Madre. Now I have enough other information, but in his previous marriage investigation where he was married to the other lady, that person that was his madre had come out in the investigation and she had said, I'm going to tell you the story and I'm asking you, the Catholic officials, to keep it under, wow, okay. But they agreed. They agreed. In the next investigation, they don't list her name. That's not fair. She has privileges. Something's going on there. That's one of the mysteries, and I think it's a good mystery because I know enough about my relatives now to where a story is coming together. But you won't, I don't think you all will ever find that someone's name is not listed in those marriage investigations. It said, okay, we'll call her Madre. Her name happens to be Rosa Maria Rodriguez de Montemayor, by the way. And that's where, as I was explaining to my new friend Patricia Benavides yesterday, that's where my connection to Diego de Montemayor is. Rosa Maria was the mother of the first Francisco, of the first Davila born, in my mind, in Nuevo Laredo. So, all right. I'm going to pull the chart out here more. And I'll discuss different things. As I mentioned, now I have my family, my information to be able to put my family tree this way. Right? Give me a few seconds here while I have this slide on. These slides on my tablet here. The first thing I want to tell you is that you need the graphic that I have here at the bottom of this family tree display. This happens to be what I consider the prize in my collection. I think it was given to me by my father. He didn't know much about his family history, but his aunt who raised him had given him some pictures. This was a picture that was given to him. I call it a base picture because it's not, I don't have it as a focal point and I don't have it as the centerpiece. I call it the base because it's the bottom. It happens to be a prize to me. My grandfather, it's not his marriage. This is a ranch wedding picture from the 1920s, La Jara Ranch, Hidalgo County. If you do genealogy, you know that a ranch wedding picture is pretty special. My grandfather is in the middle. He's got a carabina. It's not a deer hunting rifle. Those were rough times in those. The person getting married is his brother Evaristo. Evaristo is marrying a person named Ronulfa Handy. Ronulfa Handy Cavazos, by the way. But Handy, from the people, you still hear Handy in the news today. Some of it good, some of it not so good. All right? So, If you want to take notes here, I don't have the slides. I will make them available too. I have a link that I can give you to where you can get the slides. But you may want to take notes about some of the things that I bring up here. In order to put this together, I found my base picture here. I said, okay, I have to include that. That's where everything is going to be built upon or around. I used a program called Zera Extreme, and this is the part that I thought, oh, you know, that one is going to be tough. You can use other programs. My Zera Extreme, X-A-R-A. I used a version that's not even offered anymore. It's Zera Extreme 5. Why? Because they added so many bells and whistles, and it's like, no, I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, not all these, you know, jumping through hoops and loops. I used a service called Tribal Pages, all one word, Tribal, common spelling, Pages, common spelling, all one word, .com. Goodbye screen, you were never that friendly. Okay, the other resource I used was Walgreens poster print. Of course, you can use Walmart, you can use any other photo service that will do this. I used Walgreens, so I'm going to tell you how that came about. And for my frame, it's a pretty decent frame. It's starting to get some scratches now. Hobby Lobby. The Hobby Lobby frames, for those of you that don't know, I didn't know, but I do now. They alternate prices. The glass frames and the open frames are 50% off. They alternate every other week. So the guy actually told me, why don't you just buy it in a couple days? So they alternate prices. And of course, you can use the 40% off coupon that Hobby Lobby gives you on the phone. Mr. Economy used a combination of all of those. They'll also take your print, they'll put the backing on it, they'll put the little, you know, they'll make it nice, very affordable. All right.